and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is me, Duke CT, and the Dukect Lounge here on TalkShoe.com is not live. Why is that? No worries, nothing on my end. Our Skype is working just fine. It's just that, well, between, having just a very long nap and working on WrestleMania 32 with you and having a pretty late dinner, I just, lost track of time. And, well, here we are. But no worries, the Dukect Lounge is still here for you. And it's still here, and we're going to be talking about many a subject. And, since it's going to be a big subject here, let's talk about the Ryback, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. Because, well, the Ryback is gone. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And also, you have other people talking about this. Also we have many other wrestlers talk about this. Let's see. All right. And there we goes. Yeah. This is from SB Nation's K-Side Seats. Quote, it says, now this is from the big guy from his Tumblr. Yes, Ryback has a Tumblr. Oh, Lord. But anyway, in fact, he said this, Ryback was sent home. The story is, ladies and gentlemen, he was sent home by the WWE and recorded over a contract dispute. It's a shame because I thought he was finding his niche. Again, I think he had a pretty good match with Kalisto. But, two sides can agree to financial deals for a new contract. And, best thing happens. But guess what? Ryback says something on his Tumblr. And, well, here it is. I'll give you some of the details. It says, quote, today I sit and fly home. And for the first time in years, feel absolutely free. And he goes on to say he was the one to request to be taken off of WWE television till him and Vince get a yes or no on a new deal. That's been going on since his Intercontinental Championship run. Dang, just wow. And it says this is one of the most. It was a major stressor in his life, one of the big things in his life. That's all he wanted to do was work in the WWE. It just seems more and more, I feel like this is turning into WCW. I hear the same stories, like, all my life is want to work here. And it's just, and when you get here, all my life, it's like, I want to work this company. But then I realize I don't enjoy wrestling anymore. No, it's not that. It's because of the place you're working. In fact, there's a little bit like, at the end of it, he looks like he's, feed me more. And there's a little bit of Japanese there. I think he might be going to New Japan, which I think would be pretty cool. And, I honestly thought Ryback always got the shaft. I honestly felt like he did. Ryback always, to me, got over. He was great. He was like this. And, screw the Goldberg chance, which was hilarious. I'm like, stop that. And WWE didn't help with their new redesign of him, just having black trunks everywhere and everything like that, trying to be really like Goldberg. But he found his niche, and he was popular. The crowds were doing this. Hell, during the Punk thing, he was really over. And what did WWE do? They cut his, they cut the legs from under him, have him lose embarrassingly, never get over with the Shield, never get over with CM Punk. Even though the whole, CM Punk thing and this podcast on such, that sort of thing. But you know what I'm saying, though, right, people? See, Ryback then languished with mediocrity and then turned heel and just was neutered to a point that he was just like, forgotten about. And then he got himself injured. Then he returned. And people started liking him again. And he was getting face pushes, and then they tried to turn him heel, would have him join the Authority, then he didn't, then he did, then didn't. And then, he joins John Cena team. He, personally, I honestly wish instead of Dolph Ziggler, I wish it was Ryback who just annihilated all three guys and built himself up. That would have been great, and would have built up him and Rusev, which I thought they were playing for the U.S. title. That would have been fun. Instead, we got John Cena and Rusev, and well, you know what happened to Rusev afterwards? A good match, a couple good matches, but in the end, Rusev was completely and utterly destroyed, and well, he was part of probably one of the worst storylines of 2015. Hooray. What else? What else with Ryback? Oh, yeah. Then Ryback then got his new look, and then he got, started quoting movies, and I just didn't care. And, I heard his WrestleMania match, pre-show match. Both pre-show matches were pretty good. So, yeah. It just seemed like he was just going through the motions, and he's just like, F this, I'm out. Now he's gone. I think he's happier now. He's a lot happier, not dealing with the crap that is WWE. And to realize, he says, quote, wrestling is something right here. It says, wrestling is predetermined. We as performers know before we go out to that ring or perform a backstage scene who is winning and losing, etc., or have a general idea what we are going to say. It blows my mind in a sport which is predetermined from a company standpoint. Winners are paid so much more than the losers. Every single person who works at WWE from top up to bottom is absolutely just as viable as the next. Winners cannot win unless the losers go out there and agree to lose to them. Or in some cases, WWE, the losers who lose in big important matches still somehow find out they get put in more important matches. For some wrestlers. Because that's how sports work. But he continues. He says, it blows my mind to this day and age that we still adhere to this formula. Obviously, things have always been this way, but does it make them right? Which is, I always believe that type of saying. Just because if something is always there, it's always been this way, does not make it right. So, yeah, it says, well, times have changed, and its goal as humans should be to evolve and learn from the past, and the past of others, so we could make this world a better place. Why is it a guy who is told he's going out and lose, and does everything he is told to be paid not only less, but much less than said winner over a period of time? Every single performer of the WWE sacrifices the same amount of time from home and their families, and every single man or woman goes out and does what they're told. Looking at this one through, losers turn into fans like to call jobbers, and their value decreases in the company's eyes. And before you know it, they get released. For what? We're doing exactly as they are told. And this right here says, why not pay the talent equally? Which I see what he's trying to say here, but there's always going to be people who are bigger stars. John Cena should not be, Ryback shouldn't be paid as John Cena because John Cena is more marketable. He's the WWE's big guy, that sort of thing. Stone Cold was getting paid a lot more than, say, Hardcore Holly back in the day in the Attitude Era. So, that sort of thing. But I think what he's saying that, hey, if you're going to make me lose, at least give me some type of really healthy compensation. Not like everyone being paid the same. I think that's what he's saying. It says, well, quote, why not pay the talent equally? The winners have much more merch as it is, are supposed to anyway, so they get the extra perk. But why make the guy who's told to and agrees to lose earn less, sacrifice spots on big pay-per-view matchups, etc.? And he does have a point there, but again, I don't think everyone should be equal. You have to know what the worth is. And quite honestly, I think what Ryback is frustrated with this whole situation is while the WWE treated him. While he was on this babyface dominating thing, people liked him. He was really good. People were probably buying his Feed Me More shirts and so on. But then, he never got, but the WWE continued to cut the legs off from under him, and then he became a jobber. No one cared about him, and they devalued them. Heck, I honestly say even people who were jobbers were actually more interesting in the past years instead of this year's, because in previous years, they were memorable and such. Heck, like Brooklyn Brawler, anyone. now it's just like, well, they're just this, that, the other. It's just, there's like, when you tell someone to lose multiple times and then and then fire them, it is basically messed up. Like, they're doing what you want. And, yeah. And he says right here, it says, I'm proud to say that Ryback says he's proud to say he has never gone to change the finish, and he had gladly took pride in helping put over other talent. He's like, look at his pay-per-view record of 12-26, and you'll see that it's been patterned in my career. I have always been confident in my ability and work ethic to be the best every day, and ultimately always felt that by doing good, it was the right thing to do. He's personally seeing my money go down over the years, even though I was working as much as ever and being denied magazine covers and other projects, as well as watching my role diminish no matter what I did or how hard I tried, takes its tolls on a human. Being told no matter how hard I work or how good it doesn't, or how good I get doesn't always pay off is something I effing refuse to ever believe in my life. I am a creative being, and being restricted time and time again is no way to live life. There is nothing I cannot do, and I know no matter what comes to the situation, I'm going to be just fine. It isn't solely about the money. It's about commitment. Commitment to a guy who effing cares and who loves this more than anything in the world, and wants to know that his passion, his efforts, and his determination to constantly improve is going to be recognized and taken care of. And I see this right there. And this is why I call this WWE is basically what WCW is. It's like you're telling them that no matter how hard you do, you're basically saying to them, you're meaningless. Your job is completely and utterly meaningless. Your role is being completely diminished. You're not going to get any more money, and you're not going to. I think it's scratch that. Might be even worse because you know what? There's like, it's like every time is like everything is like you've done everything right by the company, but by doing this, by losing, you have in the W guys diminish your brand so much they can just say, screw it, we're not going to really care about you. That's always to me really just screwed up is that losers, get like, little to no merch, little to no this, that, the other. And so with Ryback, who's trying to get better, what is the incentive of anyone getting better and seeing their market potential and trying to become, because if they get better and such and so on, that means people will be like, hey, I want to see this guy could do all this type of thing. And right now, the WWE is trying with the indie experiment. For the most part, it's not working. I mean, let's be real here. As much as I like NXT, it don't draw ratings, Jack. It don't. They're not ratings draws. Owens, Sami Zayn, all these guys from NXT and the Roman Reigns and the mixture of John Cena and Orton, they don't draw. And the WWE has made it so that they can't draw. They're terrible production values. They're terrible storylines. And having the McMahons into every freaking story has made the show, the wrestlers, second point. Made them mute. And you wonder why people like Ryback and says, you know what? F it. He's done. He's not going to do this hold behind the WWE anymore. He left. He says, you know what? He has very other interests and passions, and he's been smart with his money. And he's like, you know what? He might go to New Japan and start something there. So I wouldn't be surprised. Personally, I would like to see him in Lucha Underground. So if Lucha Underground could free up some money for him, I think he'd do great there. I would say TNA, but TNA ain't gonna last tonight, so they ain't gonna last long. So there you go. So I think this right here is something that and they say, well, but the baby faces make money, because merchandise. It's hard for the bad guys to sell merchandises. Yet the NWO, the NWO, anyone, I mean, I guarantee you, Vince and the Authority. Yeah, but then why the Authority is hawking T-shirts, or when the the corporation was selling stuff? Yeah, I hate that thing. Well, bad guys don't wear. Yeah, because villains can't. Yeah, because I've never seen villains in DC, Marvel, or anyone else get any type of get popular and such like that. Yeah, people wouldn't buy merch from say say Joker, nah. Captain Cold, no, they won't buy merch from that. Like merch featuring him, or it's like Loki, nah, they no, not or Thanos or Apocalypse or Magneto, stuff like that. You can't get merch. You cannot. It's hard for bad guys to sell merch to kids. I'm like, BS. How many heck, I'm gonna say this. How many people bought some Boba Fett when he came out? He was a villain. I guarantee people were like, oh, I want to buy, like back in the day. No, I want to buy Boba Fett stuff. Or people want to buy stuff from say if there was Ganondorf toys, people bought that. Or like when Eggman has when in Sonic series, people probably buy those toys and merch too. So again, I don't like that thing too, saying that villains can't make any money. And again, and yeah, same thing with the heel thing. But like if you make it right and you market it right, you can sell almost anything. So yeah, it is just very frustrating. It's just frustrating to see that. And then you have superstars, Cameron, actually, she said, she was like, she went off on the IWC. Oh boy, she did. Quote, she did this, today actually. May 15th, it's May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, everyone. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Hopefully you're taking well, my Latino brethren who are listening or watching or whatever. He says, she's like, Cameron, it's like, quote, she's like this, wow. She's like, her amen, brother, come. She is bother of the IWC, who hasn't taken full account of covering the substance of Ryback's statement. Wow, the hive mind of the IWC strikes again. She's like, she also goes into, right here, which is like, we the performers know what goes on behind the scenes day in and day out in our business and how much we sacrifice and put into our craft. Every superstar on the roster works relentlessly to improve themselves and be the best performer that they can be. Rather than a perennial champion in the face of the company or if they're quote-unquote a jobber. We all work very hard to entertain our fans. You might think somebody sucks or has no talent that should be fired, but that doesn't mean the performer isn't busting their ass. They're doing what's asked of them. It's like, I love the WWE Universe because they are the most passionate and loyal fans in the world. I think the majority of fans are very smart and very interested in the business, invested in the business, but some, who appear to be the most vocal on social media, continue to do nothing but bash talent and twist words to suit their own agendas on a daily basis. And I know some people are like, oh, yeah, what's she doing? She can't blame her. I'm like, well, sometimes I look, sometimes the IWC does that to a point. But, sometimes I look at this and saying, it's just like, don't feed the trolls. But, sometimes you need to knock them down sometimes. And, some people in that wrestling community need to get, sometimes, in any type of community, there's always going to be some knuckleheads. And sometimes you need some of the people get knocked, sometimes get their heads knocked in. But, says, every single day, I think she's something which, this whole thing right here, which I'm guilty of that too. And the whole thing she says right here. Every single day I get at least one tweet or read one post where someone is bashing me for what I said on Tough Enough 5 years ago. Or for my botch pin on Raw. Look in the mirror and tell me you never made a mistake in your life. I am human after all. I've seen legends in the past and Kurt Pierce make mistakes in the ring and during promos. It happens. Get over it. I never claimed to be a childhood avid wrestling fan. Everyone takes a different path into WWE. Some come from sports backgrounds, some from dancing and modeling, while others trained their entire lives to be WWE superstars. 5 years ago, when I was on Tough Enough, I did not possess the knowledge of professional wrestling that I do today. I earned the opportunity to be on the show despite being the first one eliminated. I was signed to a contract, and since that day, I've worked my butt to improve my wrestling skills. I've studied long and hard to understand the business and its history. Because I understood why the WWE fans were so offended by the response to Mr. Ons's question. Since to continue on, and she talks about cyberbullying. It's a major, about that. I mean, personally, I just block people, which I understand she probably can't. It's like, they'd be like, oh, if you don't like, she hates freedom of speech. I'm like, that sort of thing. But personally, if someone is, the whole cyberbullying thing, I just laugh at it and just block it. And if someone just can't really take that, I always say, learn how to use the block button, people, about cyberbullying. Know how to use the block button, move on with your life, because you can't be that stressed, man. There's too many stressful things in this world. Can't get people who are, loud as a motorbike, but can't bust a grape in a fruit fight. Those, on the online circle, which more often than not, and I'm probably lumping myself in that category as well, and more often than not, those guys and gals, best just ignore them. Best just to move on. Because, I telling someone to basically kill yourself or doing all this type of stuff, never works out for you. But the rest of her stuff right here about camera stuff, well, she has some interesting points, but, all this type of stuff here, but, and all this type of stuff, I can see why some people, she wears out a lot here in this long little post here, which is on ksideseats.com. I'll put the link in there. So, By the way, if people are surprised that, about like Cameron still exists in the WWE, yeah, well, she's there. I think she was in WrestleMania, so. But I don't know. But anyway, also, Adam Rose, I think he's basically the whole craziness behind Adam Rose situation about him having a doctor's note. I have no idea why he did that on Twitter. Why are you going to do this online? You go to that personal, so you put that stuff not online. You go to the offices and try to get this stuff out there. Get some people, you talk to the people. I do not understand trying to put this drama out there. Now, all this stuff on Adam Rose, I think supposedly, he's like, he's not going to, stuff like this, him posting his doctor's note and doing all this type of stuff, which is, saying that his suspension was not warranted. But, it just seems like, dude, you could have just, I always say this, I worry, I'm like, dude, if you just were smart enough to just post this stuff on, don't post this online, but, why are you going to do this? And supposedly he deleted his stuff which I think, it goes back to my previous statement. If you're if you're at that point, make sure you call ahead and say this is what happens and stuff like that. Make sure. I'm like, dude, put your stuff. Go out and talk and go behind the scenes. Never post those stuff like that on Twitter, or Facebook, or Instagram, or LinkedIn, or whatever. Or post that stuff on YouTube either. Just don't. No one do that, because at the end of the day, it's going to be on your end. your ass is going to be the one going to be grass, man. You're going to lose your job. So, yeah. He deleted that tweet, so there you go. Anyway, we're going to take a small little break here. I'm going to play some music, and we'll be right back. And I'm going to be talking a little about the Nintendo NX and hit my thoughts on Nintendo not going to E3. We'll be right back right after this here on the Dukect Lounge. And we are back here live, the Dukect. Well, not really live, but recorded here on the Dukect Lounge. Thank you so much for joining me here on TalkShoe.com, also on Freaking Awesome Network.com, ManicExpression.com, Zipcast.com, YouTube.com/Dukect, the Dukect Productions, Blogspot.com, and anywhere and everywhere I can plug this thing. All right, let's talk a little about Nintendo, ladies and gentlemen. Nintendo E3, ladies and gentlemen. Well, they are not going to be. They're going to. Nintendo last week has dropped a huge bombshell because according to them, they're going to bring one playable game in E3 in 2016. They're going to have only one, Zelda U. They're going to do an immersive Zelda experience and such. They're going to do this is all for one game. They're saying they're going to take, by giving extended hands-on time with this remarkable game and such. They are putting a lot of money into this Legend of Zelda game. They're putting a big lot. They're saying this is it. Like, wow. This game better be the greatest Zelda game of all time. This game better eclipse Ocarina of Time. This game has to eclipse that. This much hype. And it's going to be there's going to have a Nintendo will host a day of live stream gameplay from the new Zelda Tuesday, June 14th, beginning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I think it's going to be like around 12 Eastern Standard Time. The stream will be hosted by Nintendo America's president Reggie Fils-Aimé. Will feature commentary from Nintendo developers. Will be hosted on Nintendo's YouTube channel, Twitch, and E3Nintendo.com. And also, Nintendo is going to have one fan, some cool fan, which probably won't be me, and someone else to be flown to E3 to play Zelda with all the other E3 people. So, yeah. So that's going to be it. In fact, they're not going to do much for E3. And this is really a negative, like some people, I have people who I talk to, I think some people who are very good acquaintances online are saying this is a dumb idea. The E3 is the big mega thing. It's all this type of stuff, and it's the hype machine. And I get that. I think it's a Nintendo, I think, is doing a really bad call here. I mean, I know they could do the Nintendo events later, and I think personally, I think those are a lot better and more focused on Nintendo. They can build that stuff up now in that way instead of E3. But this is a big major event, and the hype for Zelda, to me, this could really hurt it in the long run, because if you hype a game too much, it could backfire. Then again, the hype train, like say for back in the day when Star Fox 64 came out, a lot of people, they like that hype as well. So honestly, yeah, I think this could be something blowback, but yeah, and they're not going to show anything about the NX or anything like that, so Zelda's going to be the only game they're going to really be talking about, which is it sucks, but hopefully they'll have some type of surprise there. I'm hopeful there's going to be something. But also, with Nintendo, there's going to be a brand new console they're going to be talking about. Is NX. They're not going to reveal it. The look of the console, they're going to have, it's going to be coming out next year around this time, at this time. Like quarter 2 or quarter 1 around March or April. The NX, which I won't get on launch because, personally, I will wait. That's my thing. I wait until all the bugs are cleared out. And you know what? I think maybe I might break the rule because they're actually going to do, there's a rumor, and according to artstechnica.com, and this is a rumor, that they're going to produce cartridges with the NX, which in this article by Sam Maklovich is saying this could be a good move. It's because it says according to their sources, a major financial report from Micronix, a Japanese company that has provided memory-related chips to consoles as far back as the N64. Micronix has already commented on serving as a chip supplier of some sort for Nintendo NX. And it's right here in January of this year, the company spoke about higher expectations for its NOR Flash business. It is NOR Flash business linked to the launch of the new Nintendo hardware. It looks like it's some type of memory and stuff like that for memory chips that for Wii U and the PlayStation 4. But the announcers think it's going to be something more like, say, cartridges or something like that on SD cards, on like 32, very like, something very, not as cost effective, like, something, a lot cheaper than Blu-ray disc, in fact. And some, flash drives and cartridges or something like that could actually be really good. Supposedly, optical discs are not as good. They can't keep up, the Nintendo says, quote right here, Nintendo Wii U is the only current gen home console that actually loads software from its disc. While both Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 require disc-based games to dump their files into a hard drive. Those games are playable without any downloads or internet connections, but ultimately the disc gets more mileage as DRM checks than as storage media. Optical drives can't keep up with the modern CPU and GPU data bandwidth demands. A fact that any Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 veteran can attest to after seeing so many of their games' blurry, slow buffering textures. While ROM production will probably cost more than optical discs, the assumption is that the wholesale cost wouldn't be that much more per unit, and certainly not as much as the N64 cartridges compared to the CD-ROMs in the late 90s. And this says it says the Nintendo's 4-year 2007 projection included statements that the new console would not be sold at a loss, which is interesting because most consoles today usually, heck, the 360 was sold at a loss. PS3 cost a little money. In fact, the Wii was profitable. Wii was profitable. Wii U was a bit of a knockback, but yeah. But yeah, this is something really big. I wonder, because you never want to have an Xbox. No, it wasn't Xbox. It was the Xbox, the first Xbox that was sold as a loss. I don't know. I think I'd look this stuff up, because Microsoft is now being profitable with its game development, which is good. But this right here, this is really good as well because, hey, this is not going to be sold as a loss, which is a very good thing. These things are going to be, again, something, a smaller onboard flash memory, which, as they say, is going to be really interesting. And this could, it says right here, if a 32 gigabyte round chip with a large enough rewritable sector for patch support could replace both a Blu-ray disc and rewritable system memory without ramping up the cost, the 64 double drive or something like that, which was something that they put in the N64 last second. But it will be something more interesting of they actually say, quote, it says, well, right here it says, even as exactly right here, this is more interesting. It says, quote, I like this statement. Even as it has toyed with DLC, Nintendo has continued to prioritize getting finished versions of the games into stores. And if the production costs can stay close to disc, then a flash card or a retro-looking cartridge would work out in Nintendo's favor. And until Nintendo decides to open up its systems to whatever software we want to install, this might be the best we can hope for. Which to me, I actually like, because as much as I like DLC, I like having the game finished. I don't want to be like, okay, this is great, but no, you have to get more content, more content. That's why I'm not going to be the ones rushing out to get Fallout 4. I'll wait till the completed edition comes out, and then I'll get it. That's what I say. I'll wait till the completed edition for these type of consoles. For these games and everything, because at the end of the day, these things they're not 100% complete. At least with Nintendo, Xenoblade Chronicles, that doesn't have DLC coming. That game is complete. Bing, bada boom, it's done. All the stuff, all the missions, everything is in there. Everything is in there. So you don't have to worry about buying like extra DLC. It costs you like $80, $90, $100 to get the full package. The full package is already in there. Just, hopefully, I wish Nintendo can keep that track. And hopefully maybe the rest of the industry can do that too. Put the full game on there. Not, have these day one DLC deals and such like that. We'll just have a whole game on DLC disc content. I'm looking at you, Street Fighter 5, Mass Effect 3. Seriously, just piss me off. I had to pay an extra $10 just to get the Prothean, which was actually really important to the game. Just screw that, man. Stupid. But that's just me. Hopefully, maybe this will be a good thing, because again, a lot of people say that the flash drives, SSD drives, are a lot faster than the auto discs, like Blu-ray. They say they can hold more memory. I think this could be more interesting, and hopefully, a lot of people seem to be that, something like that. I think could be something really good, because they have a lot more, because making load times disappear faster, easier, something easier for the developers to worry about. Like, you don't have to worry about putting all these redundant datas and such. My hope is that this makes it easier for developers, or means more third parties, more interesting games come out of it, and more positive stuff comes into it, because I don't want just the industry just be the PS4, the Xbox One, and their bland games just floating around hoping to work next gen experience, which just routes to same crap, just prettier colors. Yeah. That's pretty much it. That's what next gen is. Same crap, prettier colors, less depth. That's next gen for you, boys and girls. Anyway, that's it for the Dukect Lounge, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here and listening to me ramble and rage. Now we'll be back next week, hopefully live on TalkShoe, and let's keep going, and let's hope that I get maybe a phone call or two, and also my WrestleMania 32 review will finally be up and functioning, and I can move on to my another review and hopefully get more and much more better content to you guys, the people really do. I appreciate you listening and following my mind-numbing, crazy rambles, and also my reviews. Anyway, this is Dukect here. Peace, love. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Later.